You know, when I said that Proton John was one of my biggest influences, I did not intend for that to include his upload schedule as well. But yes, this is the Mississippi King. Welcoming you all back to more Let's Play The Revenge of Shinobi, and in this episode we're going to get up to round 7 about. And in the last episode we took out the first 3 rounds, and of course I quoted a bunch of movies. It's so many, in fact. It's so many that it's like, you're killing me, Smalls. You know, I gotta keep referencing more movies in this episode. I mean, like, right off the bat we're introduced to, like, bald Rambos, of course, so I mean, that needs it, like, they include so many references, and later on in this round we'll fight the boss of round 4. Basically the Terminator. I don't know that that's actually what he's called, but we're gonna call him that since he looks just like the Terminator. Come with me if you want to live, and stuff like that. Yeah, I can't really think of any other Terminator quotes off the top of my head. That's problematic, but quotes that I can come up with is, of course, quotes of The Dark Knight. See, I told you they'd last me forever, because later on in round 6 we'll be facing off against none other than, not the Joker, but Batman. You may think the goal is to kill Batman, but I don't want to kill you. What am I gonna do without you? Go back to ripping off mob bosses? No. You complete me. See, I told you that these Dark Knight quotes would last me for ages. They have lasted me for ages. I'm a huge fan of The Dark Knight, of course, in case I haven't made that obvious. It's a very great Christopher Nolan film. Of course, with Batman,
it doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
That's Bane, so just quoting the wrong thing, it's kind of an inappropriate quote to be making. So, because it's inappropriate, I would suggest that you subscribe to me immediately, or I will sick my army of angry goblins upon the Oh crap, I accidentally threatened my audience to subscribe. That is no good. That's a nasty habit. I sometimes can end up threatening my audience to subscribe. That's not cool. And post-video! Oh crap, I forgot to record the rest of the game! Of course, I recorded the entire footage. In any case, I guess the problem with, like, sicking my army of goblins on them is that I ain't got an actual army of goblins, so that's unfortunate, but you know what they say, more money, more goblins! Also, one thing that's worth noting is that in round 5, that's a round where we start experiencing a difficulty spike. It's, not huge, but it's noticeable. You'll, like, be able to realize that when we get to it, that, like, it becomes quite a bit tricky to get through. So that reminds me of something else. There was this time when my dog ended up spitting out Albert Einstein, and Albert Einstein ended up telling me that you should never be green, and then I ended up getting attacked by an Italian named Jimmy Conway. I don't know why it was called Jimmy Conway, and that doesn't sound like an Italian name at all, and then I realized that, oh, in fact, it's the name of my cat, but in fact, it's not my cat, but someone pretending to be my cat. I don't know why he's pretending to be my cat, but nevertheless, he ended up pretending to be my cat, and then I realized it was all just a dream that I never even had in the first place, so what's the point of this story? There isn't one. I guess the moral of the story, if anything, is that there is no moral to this story, and that in fact, not every story needs a moral. Some stories can do perfectly fine without any morals involved. Don't take that out of context, by the way. That's something that I really don't want to have to explain, because having to explain things that are taken out of context is never good. Like, I don't like having to explain that cats should not be the supreme leaders of our world. But if they were to become the supreme leader of our world, then we should call a cat that is the supreme leader the Furrer. Because it's a pun. And of course, you know how much I make tons of puns. Actually, that's one thing that I feel I should kind of talk about is why is it that a lot of Japanese media makes so many puns? It's ridiculous. Even in semi-serious media, it's really weird to see puns made. So much of Japanese relies on, like, so many puns. And why the puns? Anyway, I'm back on topic. I have somewhat on topic. Not entirely, but as I was saying about round 5, I'm a little sorry that I skimmed over the first level of round 5. I'm trying to, like, get through this as quickly as possible to, like, get through round 5 at level 1 as quickly as possible, because if you're not careful, you can get, and there I just died. Well, ain't that just swell, it's 'cause I'm trying to rush it. That's what you get when you try to rush it, like, as I was saying, like, trying to rush it. I try to, like, rush through things, and that ends up getting me killed. This is what happens, Larry.
See what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps?
You know, I quote that way too much. It's just a really good quote, or it's not particularly, but it's one thing that's, like, become a staple for me to, like, quote all the time. But, you know, it's appropriate, I guess, because The Big Lebowski is a movie, and this game is full of movie references. I mean, just in round 6, we'll be encountering Jackie Chan, or at least a Jackie Chan lookalike. Well, actually, we kind of encountered him earlier in round 2, but still, we will be running into him. It's like this game references so many movies, it's ridiculous. Hence why I'm quoting a lot of movies. Just feels appropriate, you know? But, yeah, I died for the first time here in round 5. Yeah, that's interesting. I've gotten this far with only 1 death. Yeah, I can actually get through this game with pretty few deaths, maybe even none. I'm doing pretty good, and I have like 7 lives already. Or, well, I mean 8 if you count, like, 0. And as a reminder, this is on hardest difficulty, with 0 shurikens to start off. Also, I guess quoting The Big Lebowski is appropriate because of red cars. You know, if you're not careful, then those red cars, they can really find you in the Alps, if you know what I'm saying. But now, our plan is to get caught. Well, congratulations! You got yourself caught! Now what's the next step in your master plan?
Crashing this plane.
Actually, it's more like a train, or what is this, a truck? I'm not sure what this is. You know, this has no pilot. I mean, like, who's doing this? Who's piloting it? I'd like to know that. That's a question I have.
Who is doing this? Such a lust for revenge? Who?
In any case, in round 6, we'll actually be getting a break from the soldier enemies, which is nice because I don't like the soldiers. Don't take that out of context either, Internet. I keep saying stuff that is so easily taken out of context. It's like, I'm talking about, the soldier enemies in this game. Not, like, actual soldiers, okay? So don't take what I say out of context. You know, the soldier enemies, they gotta be like, say hello to my little friend! That's one thing. I recently saw Scarface for the first time, and, that's a really good movie, I find. Stay focused on target, on topic. This is round 6, and it's basically a Chinatown. It's pretty cool. I always like the aesthetics of places like this, so, you know, I'm kind of a sucker for this. But this also introduces a new enemy. Girls that, like, slash at you with, like, a quarter circle, like... They're also interesting in that they're one of the only enemies that don't explode upon death. They're trying to kill you, and that does put a damper on our relationship. I also recently watched The Princess Bride for the first time, which, you know, the fact that it's taken me this long to see The Princess Bride as a film buff is inconceivable. These girls that slash at you, they take a lot of hits. Like 3 powered up shurikens, which, and when you're not powered up, they take a lot more, and they can, I think they can also do a sizable amount of damage, but I find them to have pretty easy patterns. And also right here, it's a near pixel perfect jump, and that is pretty annoying. And when you look at that, I actually managed to make it. They may think that I can't get up there with, like, a pixel-perfect jump, that I'd need, like, the jutsu of Fushin to get up there, and most of the time that's exactly what I use. It's over, Mississippi King! I have the high ground, they think. But you underestimate my power! Use the Force, Luke! That's what you need to do in this level, is that you sort of need to get a feel for where the things come out you at the tunnel, like, they'll come charging at you, and they're like orange, and they do damage. You'll want to avoid that, but eventually you'll exit the tunnel. And when you do, you should be scot-free from there on, because you won't have to worry about that hazard. And normally I find that hazard to be pretty easy to deal with, because, you know, I guess I just have some sort of extra sense for it. I just sort of have that feeling, you know, when it's about to come. I guess that's what they call good timing, but who knows. Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. Are the fires of hell a-glowing? Is the grisly reaper mauling? Yes, the danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing. And they're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing. I'm surprised I haven't quoted that yet. It's a pretty good movie. I can't believe I haven't quoted that in this LP so far. That's quite surprising, I find. So the rest of this is the easy part. Just tell everyone to hang on! That's in the train scene from Spider-Man 2, which is appropriate because we're going to be facing off against Spider-Man. A pink Spider-Man. So, I don't know why we're fighting Spider-Man, since he's supposed to be, like, you know, a hero. But, you know, I guess you either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And, like, the Batman we're fighting looks like an actual Batman, like a hybrid between a bat and a human. So I wonder who this Batman could be. And he's probably wondering, who's this ninja? Why is he attacking me? And to that I say, it's not who I am underneath. but what I do that defines me. This boss fight is interesting. Like, you fight two forms of the boss at once, and like, it's kind of tricky if you have no shurikens, but without shuriken, I mean with shurikens, it's pretty easy. So how do we defeat Spider-Man? The Heart Osborn! First, we attack his heart! Okay, now we're facing off against Batman, and you know what I have to say to that?
You wanna play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend!
Well, anyway, the Sam Raimi movies, particularly the first two, they were corny. And it's like, when I was a kid and I saw these movies, like, I thought of the Green Goblin as scary. Now I just find him to be very corny. And, you know, I could also end up dying. It's like I used the jutsu of Mijin there. So you f***ed me! You f***ed me, you bastards! Actually, I think if anything, I fucked myself. Don't take that out of context either, Internet. Oh dear. This video is just rife with quotes waiting to be taken completely out of context. And when you're low on life, I'd recommend just using the Jutsu of Mijin. You know, it gives you a free refill of life, and in this game, sometimes you just gotta commit suicide to win. Ah, crap. Don't take that out of context, Internet. Why do I keep saying things that are so easy to quote mine? That's gotta be a problem, I'll bet. And the next round, round 7, is also pretty tricky, because there's a jump in it that will be really problematic. But that will have to be it for this video. This is the Mississippi King signing out, and in the next episode, we'll finish the game with the finale of Let's Play The Revenge of Shinobi. See y'all then.